Hey Rockets, Mrs. Wilgenbush, how are you today? We are continuing our book club with Galaxy Games and Challengers by Greg R Fishbone. We are at chapter 14. I can't wait to hear what happens today in the chapter. Are you ready? Chapter 14, Houston, Texas. The soldiers took Tyler's family to a Humvee. The Humvee took them to the airplane. The airplane took them all the way to Houston. Each seat on the plane had a phone embedded behind the headrest, so Amanda spent the whole trip blabbing to her boyfriend of the week back home. Tyler had never been to Texas before. Actually, he'd been outside of Nevada only a few times in his life. As the plane landed 3 hours before the most important event in human history, Tyler pressed his nose against the window to get a good view of Houston from the air. It was nice of the president to meet us halfway instead of making us fly all the way to Washington, D.C. His sister rolled her eyes and finally detached the phone from the side of her face. You think the president cares about making life easier for you? You're such an idiot. Amanda, said their mom sternly. Tyler's sister shrugged and returned to her phone call. Do you know what's in Houston? Tyler's dad asked. Oil wells, Tyler guessed. Tex-Mex chili? Cowboys? How about this? His dad pretended to speak into a radio. Houston, come in, Houston. Houston, we've got a problem. Truck drivers? Tyler asked. His dad laughed. Not unless they're truck drivers from outer space. Oh, Tyler nodded. NASA, the space agency. More soldiers met them at the airport. They took Tyler and his family by helicopter to the Johnson Space Center. They didn't know what it was like there on a normal day, but on Tai Sato Day, large crowds rushed among several buildings down long hallways from one security checkpoint to the next. Most of the men and women wore NASA identification badges on their belts or hanging from cords around their necks. But Tyler also noticed visitor badges from flags from countries around the world. Tyler's family waited in a VIP lounge for a few minutes until a bald man in a dirt brown suit burst through the door, trailed by a woman with gray streaks in her dark hair. Now, who are these people? The man asked with a squint in Tyler's direction. Tai Sato and family, the woman replied. The president wanted to meet them. But, what? But you said, oh, the man sighed. Let's get this over with. He put on an obviously fake smile, strode forward, and held out his hand for a handshake. He spoke fast, like the words were racing out of his mouth. I'm Dan O'Hare, NASA administrator. I'm the one in charge of this whole dog and pony show. And this is Deputy Administrator Wanda Drake. I can't tell you what an honor it is for us to meet the original Tai Sato and assorted relatives. Assorted relatives? Amanda huffed. Tyler's mother and father glanced at each other, tried to decide between them who would be the first to shake Mr. O'Hara's hand. In their moment of hesitation, the NASA administrator pulled his hand away and retreated toward the exit. As you can imagine, I'm very busy today, but Deputy Drake will take care of you until the president has a free moment and... Oh! Mr. O'Hara turned to face them again, but continued walking backward. Have you folks eaten lunch? No, said Tyler. Then you're in luck. It's meatloaf week in our cafeteria. Just imagine, 5 kinds of meatloaf. But we're vegetarians. Tyler managed to get the words out of the NASA as the NASA administrator completed his escape. Assorted relatives? Amanda asked again. I really must apologize for Mr. O'Hara. Deputy Drake's slow southern drawl was a refreshing change from the administrator high-speed patter. As you might imagine, he has a lot on his mind today, and I made the mistake of telling him that Tai Sato had arrived a bit earlier than we'd expected. He must have thought I meant Tai Sato, the one from space. I understand, Tyler told her. People get us confused all the time. Over lunch in the astronaut cafeteria, Deputy Drake told them stories about when she'd been a mission commander on the Space Shuttle and International Space Station. Tyler was fascinated, and even Amanda listened intently as she picked at her meatless meatloaf muffins. Whew, say that fast 3 times. Deputy Drake was in the middle of describing her first spacewalk when her phone buzzed. The president is waiting for you, she announced. Does the president really know who we are? Tyler asked. He's been briefed. Wow, said Tyler. Nobody has ever been briefed about me before. I haven't seen my latest report card, has he? Deputy Drake laughed. I wouldn't worry about that. Your father discovered Tai Sato because he was searching the heavens for your star. You have had a special connection with this spaceship from the beginning, so it only makes sense for you to be here when it arrives. They bypassed 4 security checkpoints on the way to an enormous room containing row after row of long tables. It looked a bit like the cafeteria, but without a salad bar. Technicians at the tables all faced an enormous video screen at the front of the room as they fiddled with their computers, phones, and paperwork. Many of the tables seemed to be reserved for other space agencies around the world. Tyler could see flags from China, Russia, India, a whole bunch he didn't recognize. And hey, that table's all people from Japan. Does Japan have its own NASA? They call it JAXA, said Deputy Drake. The Japanese have done some amazing work with very thin sails that unfold to catch the solar wind. In the future, solar sails may be more efficient than rockets for reaching the outer planets of our solar system. Origami in space? Tyler's mother exclaimed. See, kids, those little paper cranes I make can be used to explore the other worlds. Amanda made one of her embarrassed look-away hair flips and froze at the end with her eyes wide and jaw hung open. That's him, she shrieked. Tyler followed Amanda's pointing finger to the back of the room, where the President of the United States stood with his hand clasped in front of him. The President looked even taller than Tyler had expected. On the President's left stood NASA Administrator O'Hare, who spoke as quickly as ever, while gesturing at the President like a madman. On the President's right stood a uniformed soldier with more medals and decorations than anyone Tyler had ever seen. The decorated soldier eyed Mr. O'Hara's windmilling arms intently, and Tyler had no doubt in the man's ability to defend the President from any unintentional backhands to the face. Deputy Drake waved to catch the administrator's eye. Mr. O'Hara said one more thing to the President before jerking his head and neck in a "get over here" gesture that made the NASA administrator look like he was shaking the water from his left ear after a dip in the pool. The decorated soldier tensed his hands in response. Mr. President, said Mr. O'Hara, I'd like you to meet the Sato family. But don't mind me, said Amanda. I'm just an assorted relative. Have you really been briefed about me? Tyler wanted to know. Indeed, I have. The President shook their hands. Dr. Sato, Mrs. Sato, Amanda Sato, and young Tyler. I envy you, young man. Tyler blinked. You envy me, sir? The President smiled. If you do a good job, they might name an aircraft carrier after me someday. But you've got an alien spaceship named after you already. I just hope the aliens aren't mad when they find out, said Tyler. The President laughed. Tyler, why don't you stand over here between me and the security of defense? He indicated the decorated soldier. I always feel better when I have at least one person between us. No offense, General Slagowski. None taken, Mr. President, said the general. Tyler was almost too dazed to speak. Yes, sure, all right. So I'll stand right here then. Thank you, Mr. President. Tyler heard his sister whisper to his mom, It's not fair. Ty's a dork. The President isn't supposed to like him so much. Amanda, hush, said his mom. Tyler stuck his tongue out at his sister when the President wasn't looking. What's happening now? Tyler's dad asked. We're broadcasting messages of peace in all languages of Earth, said Mr. O'Hara. We are playing music from countries around the world. Tyler's dad nodded. So the aliens hear the best of our cultures. That's the idea, said the President. They're also picking up the worst of our television shows, but that's beyond our control. General Slagowski's frowny face collected some additional shadows. They know too much about us, and we know too little about them. We must be careful, Mr. President. We will be, General. As the technicians shuffled their papers and made their phone calls, people kept coming by to let the President know that they were ready for him. They were ready if he wanted to make a speech on TV. They were ready if they wanted to be consulted to other world leaders. They were even ready if he wanted to launch a nuclear missile at Tai Sato. Thanks, said the President. I'll let you know. While everyone else rushed madly around the room, The president stayed calmly and mostly spoke with Tyler about his school. Tyler told him about his classes, the soccer team, and everything else. He even told the president about how Eric Parker wasn't talking to him. I remember being 10 years old like Eric, said the president. It's not an easy age. As an 11-year-old, you'll have to be patient and understanding. Maybe you're right, said Tyler. Of course I'm right, said the president with a wink. If I hadn't gotten sidetracked by a career in politics, I would have made an excellent school guidance counselor. Just like Mrs. Baker. Inner solar system. 19 million miles away from Earth, the silver spaceship technician rang the door chime on the Captain Mavraz's cabin. Enter, came the girl's voice from inside. Technician Nagato opened the door and slid inside under the jet of green slime. You wanted to see me, Captain? Yes, technician. I have something important to ask, and I don't want Returvo to know. I have no problem with keeping secrets from him. Good. Her face tentacle waved in a smile pattern. On the planet we are approaching, they might not have yet discovered the quantum band technology. Good. Her face tentacles waved in a smile pattern. On the planet we are approaching, they may not yet have discovered quantum band technology. But you said they invited you here for a challenge, Nagato stated. They'd need to use quantum bands for that. Electromagnetic broadcasts would take ages to reach another system, and nobody else in the galaxy would be listening for them. Yes, Mafroza laughed nervously. Of course you're right, but what if these people prefer to use electromagnetic broadcasts? Sorry about that. Would we have any way to contact them? It would not be difficult. We have all the necessary parts in our waste reclamation system already. That would be great. And then, could you patch the transmitter into the ship's quantum console? Only don't tell the pilot, or my father parent, or anyone else. Nagato sighed. The residents of this system did not actually contact you for a challenge, did they? No, said Mavroza quietly. They did not. I suppose that I am a mere technician. That detail doesn't really concern me, and I should do as I'm instructed. I will build a transmitter and make it work like a quantum hail, as you request. And you will keep my secret? Mafroza sealed her nostril flaps to hold in her breath. Nagato bowed his head. As I said, I am a mere technician. If I accused our planet's captain of deception, who would believe me? Mavroza wrapped her arm tentacles around Nagato in a grateful hug. Thank you, technician. Thank you. Thank you. You are welcome, he said, pushing her away. We'll just have to make sure nobody is using the toilet and the radio at the same time, or one of them will get a whole lot of feedback. Tokyo, Japan. Minutes before the most important event in human history, Kai and his family gathered around the television. The room was crowded with uncles, aunts, grandparents, cousins, and some people Dakai had never even met before. It was a family celebration because the spaceship was named after their American relative, but Dakai still felt anxious about what the aliens might do. Katsura and his family were there as well, since they hadn't had a chance to buy a new television yet. Katsura nudged his arm. Hey, Dakai-kun, where's that girlfriend of yours? Dakai pointed to the window. Out there, and she's not my girlfriend. Katsura stepped over and gawked out the courtyard where Tamako was doing a set of foot-sweeping exercises. That's the girl who beat Takada-sama at the arcade. Tamazawa Tamako. What is she doing at your house? Dakai shrugged. Judo drills. Katsuro shook his head in amazement. An alien spaceship is one thing, but this is truly unbelievable. Dakai-kan's girlfriend is a judo superstar. Tamako-chan is not my girlfriend. Katsuro grinned. Tamako-chan, I believe you've just proven my point. Dakai groaned into his hands. Dakai-kan, his mother called. She held a tray containing a pitcher of water and a plate of seaweed-wrapped rice balls. Bring these ansubis out to your friend. She's been kicking the air for over an hour now, and she must be getting awfully dehydrated. Yes, mother, said Kai, happy for an excuse to get away from the crowd. Outside, he placed the tray on the ground close to Tamako's waving arms and swinging legs as he could safely get. Tamako-chan, aren't you hungry? Thirsty? Tired? Tamako stopped her movements and turned to him, red-faced and sweaty. Sorry, Daka Khan, I can't really talk now. I've got a lot of practicing to catch up on, just like Obi-Chan would have wanted. Your great-grandmother wouldn't want you to kill yourself. Why don't you take a break? Well, maybe for a minute or so. She stepped forward to gulp down water and handfuls of food. Arigato, Daka Khan. You know, my whole family is inside watching the spaceship. You should join us. Tamako shook her head. Can't. Gotta practice. No more fun for me. No more games and no more episodes of Hunter Elf Zeta. Sorry. I need to change my priorities like Obi-Chan said. She stepped away and started her workout routine again from the beginning. Tamako-chan? Dakai called. Tamako-chan? She did not respond. Dakai shook his head and went inside. Inner solar system. Less than 1 million miles away, the silver spaceship fired its thrusters and prepared to enter into the orbit around Earth. And that's the end of that chapter. Whew, that was pretty good. That was kind of interesting getting to meet the president and everything that's going on. Can't wait to hear what happens next. Till next time, Rockets. P.S. Sorry about the phone call in the middle of that.